All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Oregairu, Season 2, Episode 10. Pandemonium in the streets.
Yeah, in the Disneyland streets, yes.
Fireworks confessions that happen and almost happened, or very much wanted to happen. And one of them,
got slapped down!
Slapped down hard. No,
shit!
Consoling or anything by the looks of it, or
Nothing.
trying to let her down easy. That looked like a cold, hard, like, nope, no interest. I think you're awful.
Yep.
Like,
It was at the very least apathetic.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is pretty bad.
That's almost worse than a hard negative.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
oh man.
She's she looks a bit flustered about the whole thing.
Yep.
So will this turn out to be a thing where Hachiman goes to help her without her asking, or will she go to the service club in need of help, or will Hayama go to the service club in need of help?
Will it spark a conversation between Hachiman and Yui about how, her feelings may end up changing the dynamic of the situation because they just saw a result of how it can be very negative?
Yeah, but we don't know what the dynamic between Hayama's group and him will be
true.
because of this. If anything, there could be a slight dynamic change, I would say, between Hachiman and Hayama.
Okay.
But I feel like these two are destined to become good friends, so it's more of a thing of, will this be a little bit more of a hiccup on the way to that? So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion.
Haruno, you snake.
Wow. Okay.
I have feelings about this episode.
This one really set us up for feeling rather good about a lot of the things happening, because we had two happy montages. We had the OP, I believe.
Right, I think so.
Playing a second time in the episode, which is just another reason why we can't put these on YouTube. But also, another thing that was rather just sweet in general was we had like a Yukino Hachiman near like double whammy, like realization of that she wants a genuine, relationship with him. And then there also might be, like, we might be close to a confession of feelings even.
Yeah, it very much felt like with most of the interactions that Hachiman had this episode, they were love scenes from the standpoint that both characters ended up getting what they wanted out of the interaction.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So it was pretty much happy all around, which then of course makes the
except maybe Kaori. Kaori didn't get what she wanted. Well, no, she got to tell him. Yeah, she got to tell him in some ways, like, "Hey, I liked what you did back there," in no certain terms.
Right, exactly, and kind of continually put her spin on past interactions and everything. And then Hachiman was able to get what he wanted in that he was able to tell her, no, even though he didn't dig into it too much, of no. Yeah, like he was able to stand his ground and everything, and not take her shit, right?
Yeah. Although, again, I don't think she's that malicious. I think she's ignorant.
No. Yeah, it's right. It's very much something where she cares about number one, and as a result, it's Hachiman, at the very least back then, and still kind of now, doesn't register enough on her radar in order for it to be malicious. Like, because, like, how can you really, like, be trying to hurt someone if you don't even really think about what they feel?
I think the fact that she keeps interacting with him means that she's starting to like him a little bit more.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a ton of interactions with Hachiman, like
lots of one-on-ones.
Lots of one-on-ones this episode, and this is something that constantly surprises me about the show, is that since the dialogue is so good and so layered, and there's so much like meaning behind the things that are being said, I would not be surprised if it was something where it's like, okay, we can do 2, maybe 3 really meaty interactions each episode tops, right? But the show doesn't do that.
Yeah, the show found a way around the plot to basically have like 7 of them.
Yep.
And all of them, even if they were short, still had like really impactful moments. Like the stuff with Hachiman and Hayama, which I thought was going to happen way later, but eventually happens right in the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
Where Hachiman's already kind of like, hey, dude, like, this isn't like you. What gives? What's going on? Hayama's got the response of like, no, I had to. Yeah. I liked that she confessed her feelings, but there's more to it than meets the eye, you know? They're probably actually meant for... You're incredible!
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice save there.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Like...
Hayama. Oh, my God.
Oh,
my God.
The emotions in this show get so complicated and interconnected and everything. Mm-hmm. Like... It very much feels like a
spider's web.
Yeah, it's a spider's web, right? Yep. And plucking just one area sends ripples throughout the whole thing, right? Yep. And generally gives the sense that everything that happens is painful. Like anything that happens between all these characters, it just ends up hurting people somewhere along the spider's web, right? Mm-hmm. And the whole bit with Hayama, it's like, yeah, I know you think highly of Hachiman and everything, and yeah. Like,
one of the things that was really cool about starting the episode with Hayama, though, is the idea that they ended the episode with Hayama. So one of the things that's been a bit of a hope of mine, a dream of mine within this show, is that Hayama and Hachiman end up being really good friends because of what happened at the end of season 1. Mm-hmm. But here, one of the things that I'm getting more and more the vibe of is that he's got like a connection to Haruno and Yukino's family that is a bit more than he's letting on. To the point where him saying things like, I can't, like I had to reject her, feels not like him. Like, doesn't that feel a bit weird?
Well, it's so.
If anything, I think he would be genuinely honest with Hachiman and be like, "I have zero interest in her."
Right,
because we've seen him be like open and like in almost a cold way at times with Hachiman.
Well,
since they're alone
with Hayama, I get the sense. I mean, okay, he's Hachiman's foil. Right? He's the inverse, basically, right? Yeah. He's the popular one. Hachiman isn't.
And yet they
wasn't.
Yeah, and they both kind of want the same thing.
But they kind of want the same thing, right? There's lots of similarities, but they're very different. The ways that they go about things are very different. And yet you couldn't just say that they're polar opposites because they do share some similarities.
Totally.
In Hachiman's case, his sort of coldness, meanness, whatever you want to call it, is for the most part on the outside, or there's another side to it that not a lot of people get to see, right?
Yeah.
And even Hachiman doesn't get to see it all the time. Oftentimes, and until recently, he tried very hard to hide it from people.
Yep.
Hayama, on the outside, is the token nice guy, right? He is super popular, everybody loves him, all that stuff. Yep. But we've seen time and time again that he has a nasty side.
And it's not even that it's necessarily just nasty. It's that it's just showing that the warm exterior is fake. It's a lot of times it's a facade put up there intentionally.
Right.
And so by him saying things like here as a compliment, you're incredible, he clarifies immediately after that, by the way, when I compliment you like that, I'm doing this for myself. It's like him saying, look at me. Look at how fake I am.
Right. I wish I was more like you.
Yeah, I'm not as nice a guy as I think I am. When I praise you, I do it for myself.
Yep. And then we've got the whole situation with Iroha, which I
love it, and I was perturbed, man.
Oh man, I was very surprised that we ended up getting this kind of interaction, right? Because but I love it, right? The whole thing of her being like, "Hey, this bag's too heavy for me," right? There's so much subtext to that. It's a very rich line, right? I love it, and so he helps her out like he's been doing this whole time, right?
Because they're not going to carry the bags; they're just going to sit here on the train until the train literally ends.
Exactly, right?
They've gone so far on the train
that most everyone else has already gotten off
because they missed their stop. Like it's not
right. Yeah. Hachiman is literally missing his stop, and he's going to have to take another train back or whatever.
And she probably did too. I'm just meaning since there's no one on the train, that it makes sense that they might just be letting the train run.
Possibly, I figured she just had she was further ways away, but
totally could be the case too. Yeah,
but and so he's here to just help out, right? But we get to see just how much you've already been helping out Hachiman, and I love this because it's something where Hachiman one of the reasons that Hachiman has constantly been downplaying himself and didn't allow for genuine connection up till now is because he didn't have, in my mind, a good self-esteem because of a bad track record, right?
Sure.
Where basically he was used to being put down by everybody around him, so he basically took that in, made it a part of his identity, and said, I am the one who will constantly be put down, and I can sort of stand proud in my own way as a result of that.
Sure.
But the thing is that your situation's a bit different. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, a lot of the people around you admire you, look up to you. You help them in ways that you wouldn't have expected. Because Hachiman is okay with helping people, or in the old Hachiman, right? Because he's undergoing a lot of change recently.
A lot of
change. Yeah. But the old Hachiman would be totally fine with helping somebody as long as it was from that place of, I am the loner, I am the outcast.
I'll do it all myself.
I'll do it all myself. Yeah. Because then by helping someone from that place of being the outcast, it gives him strength and it makes him feel better about resigning himself to that position. Right. And the fact that he felt also kind of forced into that position, and that's why he held on to it so strongly to say, no, this was my choice, right?
Yeah.
But now it's a bit different.
Yeah, and Iroha bringing up the idea that she listened into everything from 2-8 is perfect because, well, we saw her outside the door.
Right.
But also just the idea that this is the person that has changed her so much to where she can't help but, in some ways, like him.
Yeah.
And not necessarily even like him in the romantic sense where Hayama is that kind of perfect specimen, you know. Hachiman is her hero.
Yeah.
Like it's not something where she's like she worships him or anything like that in the typical kind of fanboy fangirl kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's no, you are starting to realize the ideal with which I would actually like. I saw you go after it
what you did
that threw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
And now I want to do the same thing.
Right. What you did was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
And even though it was something that you fought against doing for so long because you were worried about getting hurt once you did that, you know, what can she say? Vulnerability is attractive, right? And the fact that it was done behind closed doors, no less, right?
Oh.
The fact that it wasn't even directed to her, it was just something that she happened to listen in on, right? She happened to just realize that it was happening.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like that's a very special thing that she got to basically witness, right? And that's completely polar opposite to the kind of person that she usually is, because she's constantly putting up the facades, right? She's ruthlessly cunning with how she constructs everything, right?
Yeah. I love the comedy bit of her being like, wait, are you hitting on me while I'm heartbroken? Sorry, but I need more time. Again, it's another evolution of she's not rejecting that if that's what you were doing.
That's not even a rejection.
She's saying, actually, yes, I am interested, but I need more time.
Right. Yeah.
So it's getting to that point where Iroha might just actually confess to him pretty soon.
I would almost take that as a confession.
It is a pseudo-confession, yes. But then she stirs up the... What? But I'm not down and out just yet.
Ganbate!
This is the best way to make a move on Hayama. People sympathize with me. My rivals have to back off, right? And it's just like...
Right?
Oh.
Besides, wouldn't you worry about someone you rejected?
Oh, and I'm just like...
You'd feel sorry for him.
Yeah. I lost the battle, but I'll win the war. I laid the groundwork, so I gotta stick with it.
All these things that she's telling herself, trying to still put up that facade, right?
Yeah.
Even with Hachiman. Even when they're the only two people on this train, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course this is all your fault. You're the one who made me change. After he then kind of smiles and says, "You're amazing." And while this is a moment that is totally within the context of she is being genuinely honest, I would say, that she wants to go after Hayama. But one of the things that cannot be ignored here is that while she is changing. This is definitely the groundwork, if you will, for a confession to Hachiman.
Yeah.
If all of this was something that was not actually for Hayama at all, and Hayama knew that.
Right.
And so the confession to Hayama wasn't real at all.
Right.
And it was all just a ploy so that when she ran back out crying, Hachiman would then notice that, have this special time with her alone on the train, and she would be able to be alone with him there, and then whisper into his ear, "Take responsibility."
And you know what I'm betting?
Yeah.
I'm betting that she is not aware of that at all.
Oh, I think she's 100% aware of it.
I don't think so.
I think so?
I think it's something where because okay, one of the things I'm gonna basically backtrack to build up to the point, but one of the things that I really need to be sold on in a show, especially in anime where this can tend to happen, is that if the main character is going to become the person that all of the girls in the show kind of end up falling for, right?
Okay.
I need to be sold on why each girl falls for the main character.
Yeah.
Right? And Iroha is like way up there on the list of believability for me of like that she would absolutely fall head over heels for him.
Yeah, with like Yui being your second.
Yeah, basically. And
probably Yukino third.
Yeah, like for Yui and Yukino, and the thing is that for Yui and Yukino, it makes sense because we've spent so much time with them.
Yeah.
For Iroha, it makes a lot less sense because she doesn't. I mean, she started spending more time with Hachiman recently.
Very recently.
But as far as like time that we've spent with her as a character in the show, she has gotten a much smaller fraction of the screen time than a lot of the other core characters, right? But with everything that's happened, I believe that she got emotionally swept up with what happened. Not with the fireworks and everything, right? Not with the fireworks and Hayama, but with the fact that she listened. She listened into that room. She heard what Hachiman said, and she was like, God damn, I want that too. So because she's still young and naive and a bit stupid, right? She goes to Hayama, right? Because she's like, all right, I'm gonna put it all out there, right? I'm gonna confess to him.
Oh, so then she's crying not necessarily because of the rejection, but because she messed up and got swept up on it and confessed maybe even to the wrong person.
And I don't know if she even necessarily realizes that yet.
Oh, I think she does.
Like she's starting to, but the thing is that
I think we're underselling how intelligent she is.
No, so she's intelligent, right? But Hachiman's intelligent, but he still had a problem with it because it's being emotionally vulnerable, not just with other people, but first, this has to come first, with yourself, right? Yeah. And that's something that her rejections that aren't really rejections and get less and less rejecty, that's a version of her starting to become vulnerable with herself, right?
Yeah.
So then when all of this stuff happens and she's suddenly in this situation, it's of course, the one person that she wants to stay with her, the one person, oh, my bags are heavy, is Hachiman. Right? Because when it comes right down to it, she wants him around.
Yeah. But in the words of Hachiman, you're still a cunning little... And then she interjects with her line there. But the fact that she ASMR'd him with, take responsibility.
That's some
then
confidence
smiled
there.
at him. Then we cut to the OP.
Right.
I think she's aware.
Yeah, like, I think so too. Like, certainly at this point, after that conversation on the train, subway, whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning that. I was meaning
I know.
before.
Yeah. But because last thing I'll say on that, because that level of confidence after she's been heartbroken is, if nothing, that would be telling to her. Two, the fact that it happens right before the OP, usually when something happens before the OP in an episode, it's either like
it's a framework. A foundation.
Right, it's a foundation for the episode. That or it's like a one-bit like sketch, to sort of like be a cold open comedy intro or whatever.
Sure.
But if it's not that, then usually that's kind of telling you what the episode's about. So Yeah.
Being honest and confronting your emotions regarding the situation, which then leads us to the Christmas party.
Yep, confrontation time.
We have to get even the quiet guys and gal to talk together with Iroha and Hachiman and even the rest of the assistants. What are they called? The club. Yeah.
The people that don't do anything. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about literally Yukino and Yui. Jesus, Jacob. Literally showing the table where they're all there.
The volunteer club, I think. Service club?
Service club, yeah. No. These people right here. Right. So, if we end up having them speak honestly and candidly about what they want and what they need to have happen here, we're going to have a bit of a confrontation because they're obviously going to deflect it with their masterful, deflect jutsu, and nonsense jutsu as well. So, it doesn't work. They go at it. They give it a fair shot. Everyone is going, pretty well salvo with this here.
Yeah.
But then Hachiman gets a little bit too personal and starts speaking a little bit more from the heart than regards to his current situation.
Right.
Which is a beautiful way of showing that he's changing, but also he's not that good at perfectly vulnerable communication.
Right.
Because he's not discussing the event here. He's discussing more of just some things that he's been having to deal with.
Exactly. He's used to attacking with the defenses up, and now since he's sort of made that promise to Yukino and Yui to have the defenses down, he's working with unfamiliar territory.
Right. And thus a lot of the things that he talks about, hence all the scheming, all of the empty words. It was all to gain peace of mind through mutual commitment. I mean, it's a hell of a lot easier when others can take the fall. Yeah. It's something where then we see Yukino and Yui just having that, oh, he's trying, and
they will remember this.
They will remember this. And then, of course, they have no idea what he's talking about. In the aspect that they, of course, are not cluing into anything that they're talking about.
Right.
But also, Hachiman's talking a little bit more about his own stuff rather than the group stuff here. So Yukino takes charge.
Yeah.
And oh my god, the way in which Yukino was so effective here.
Like, sometimes you just need an ice queen.
This was... I just fell in love all over again. If all you want to do is play pretend, can you take it somewhere else? Could you take it elsewhere? That moment where oh my god!
Because Hachiman, and the reason why his attack worked well but couldn't truly work, right, is because he himself was sort of emotionally jeopardized, right?
Yes.
Now, Yukino is emotionally jeopardized in her own way, but it's a very different kind of way.
It's not in her communication.
It's not in her communication. It's in the fact of the paladin is
I've
on
lost
task.
Patience.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but with the things that she says, it's, cold, clean, methodical, and thorough, right? Like,
now, I want to bring up something that I feel like makes a little bit of sense for her to bring it up in this way. Is, remember, her parents are specifically like big business, right?
Yes.
Now, she says, is pretending to be upper management with words you just picked up that much fun?
Yeah, she's like, I know what that looks like. Yes. It's not this. It's pathetic.
Yeah, mistaking vague statements for actual communication and understanding while never lifting a finger. How could that lead to any progress? It will never create anything, never improve anything, and never help anything. This is where I believe Yukino went a bit more vulnerable than was even needed, but it was effective because she had already gotten their attention with her cold words that just doused their ridiculous flames with some cold ice water.
And they probably wouldn't even realize that, like, it's subtle enough that they wouldn't clue into it, right? So it wouldn't jeopardize anything she's saying. And potentially even Hachiman and Yui wouldn't even recognize it.
Does this not feel like, though, because we end up having the episode end with her mom showing up, this is something that she could, in a little bit of slightly different language, would say to her parents? In that this is not their parents specifically, but this is their family.
No, I think so. Like, not that the specific circumstances are the same with like hand gestures and things like that.
But the idea of mistaking vague words or vapid words for actual communication and understanding.
Vapid was definitely was a word that was on my mind too. It's that
empty.
That this is the frustrations are similar.
Yes,
the things that cause the frustrations might differ, right?
Totally.
By quite a large margin.
Right.
But Yukino has words that she would like to give to her parents or family and all of them, but
she seems powerless in those situations, especially when Haruno's there. And even though we've never actually seen her parents,
until now, and that's why I think in situations like this she takes charge so much, because this is a place where she can have power, right?
Right.
It's the paladin that became a paladin because at one point they were helpless,
right? But the idea of it will never create, improve, or help anything, it's nothing but a sham. This is something that I feel like was maybe her fear with regards to things in the
service club.
Service club is that there's a lot of things with regards to how they've interacted in the past that led to a lack of communication and understanding.
Sure.
And if only certain people are actually doing the work, aka certain people aren't able to even lift a finger to do anything about it, how could that lead to any progress?
Nice.
Never create, improve, And of course, the last one has to be help anything.
Right.
That's the one directly tied to the club.
Right.
And then it's,
I like it.
It's nothing but a sham. So Yui and Hachiman are freaking out.
Yeah, Yui's like, whoa. And Hachiman's like, oh, I'm in this image and I don't like it. You know?
Right. Or not even that. Just they're resonating with this emotionally.
Sure.
And what it fully means to them, I'm not sure they understand or even I understand, but
right, it's
genuine from Yui. I'm from Yukino.
Yeah, right. It's genuine from Yukino and it's relevant to us, but we might have to stew over exactly like what it means.
Yeah. And then, of course, the final crescendo is just
please stop wasting our time. That's something that an upper management person would say.
Yep, that is definitely the kind of
because
thing.
Because that's like, you know, if you want to look at people that are truly busy and not like posing as being busy or whatever, right? It's kind of, it feels similar to me to like something that one of my old bosses said of the people who really have money, you would never know it. Right, the people who try and make it look like they have money might have a bit of money, but not really. Right, the stupid wealthy people.
Yeah,
just look like
another way to look at it with regards to people who are really serious and focused and dedicated to the things that they do. Their little mannerisms will show it.
Yeah,
and that's why it frustrated me to no end looking at the guy's hand gestures and stuff, because it was the true story being told, despite the words that he was saying. Because there were times when he would say things that I would go, oh, that was actually potentially somewhat intelligent.
Right.
And then immediately after that,
and
then immediately after that, he'd do the hand gestures and say something nonsensical.
Right.
And I'd be like, okay, nope, you're just an idiot. Like,
applying some of the things that they would talk about here is good.
Is good,
but
they didn't apply shit.
They didn't apply shit, right?
So this moment was extremely cathartic. It was almost like there was a video game boss that finally got super comboed by the squad that was assembled.
Oh yeah,
showed up
absolutely. And then later
at the end they showed the guy just like whatever choice that was. This was a light novel, right?
Yes.
So there's no way this was something that was written in a light novel where there's no visuals.
I mean, it could have been as description and stuff, but to capture it this perfectly, this
feels
really...
like the kind of thing that the animators were like, all right, this dingus is going to have a moment where we're just going to see him. Just his hair for a moment, have it blow up and go Super Saiyan, basically. But then when we reveal what it was, it's just him being like...
Yeah, well, just like everything else that was happening.
He's huffing like a little baby.
It was just blowing hot air, right?
Yeah.
I really want to, like... This anime just oozes good adaptation and good source material. Like great adaptation of already great source material. I want to check out the light novels for this series just to see how the adaptation was handled. Because there are so many things in here that just, man, I love them.
I gotta say, the little conversation with Iroha, Yukino, and Hachiman was perfect.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
In terms of having little double meanings. So I just want to go over them really quick. Iroha is like chastising them, like, way to rain on everyone's parade, thinking like, yeah, you guys could have done this a lot better. But they're like, well, we did it quickly. And it worked.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was what was needed.
They're like, I don't think I was... Oh, wait. I don't think I was mistaken. What I said, though, was what Yukino said.
Yes.
And then she goes, well, your words may have been justified, but, couldn't you, read the room, read the mood or something?
Yeah.
And then I love that she brings this here and says, you think too highly of him if you think he's capable of that. She's playing the pronoun game, where she's basically saying, I am totally talking about, hands. But I'm also talking about Hachiman here.
I didn't think she was talking about the hands guy at all, or I didn't make that connection, so I hadn't thought about that.
Well, no, that's the double meaning. It's that it's her way of how she insults in a playful way. Hachiman.
I like it.
Is that there's always another way it could be interpreted.
Yep.
And then immediately she goes, even in his club room, all he does is read his book.
Right, which is also the deflection of, you're clearly not talking about me, even because you just said that I was justified, even though that was followed by a but.
Because you initiated the conversation. However, if we actually go back to the beginning, she initiated the response. But actually the one to initiate it here was
Hachiman.
No, was Iroha. Basically saying that Yukino's trying to steal the... your words may have been justified. That's just for me. That's only mine. Huh, yes. So then when
she admitted my words are justified, it's like you're totally missing the point.
Yeah. Also, wasn't she yelling at you, not me? And she's like, but she just admitted my words are justified. It's the thing of where she's like, technically,
it's the paladin just being genuinely confused of like, but I did the thing that's in the code, like that. What's wrong? Like what do you have a problem with?
I love the idea that she is blissfully ignorant because she's subconsciously directing the conversation to herself so that it's all based around her actions, and then she
shifts the blame for
casually
how the
just blames Hachiman is like, he obviously doesn't know how to read between the lines, when that's literally happening right in front of her. And then Hachiman brings it up as like, wait a minute, like, but a voracious reader like myself can also read between the lines. And wasn't she yelling at you? And then the way she looks so casual about this.
Why would she yell at me after that?
Yeah. I have to assume, on some level, Yukino is aware of what she's doing.
I don't think so.
I know.
I think she's like that. That's her greatest strength and greatest weakness. You know, it's
I think you're 98% right. And then what about the other 2%? Well, is that she's like, wait, if I do it with this expression, Hachiman is gonna lose it, and I love to see him flustered like that.
I could maybe see that in like an alternate timeline, perhaps. But like this feels like the thing of Yukino being like, don't you think if I was wrong, I would know it? Like that kind of like a response.
It is,
you know,
yes.
Come on. If it was a real blind spot, I would be aware. Like, come on.
But then also Iroha with the, hey, too much flirting, stop it.
This scene, the whole scene with like the confrontation with the other, hand gesturing people and stuff, and then leading into this conversation, this I feel like is a fantastic way to double down on the whole idea that Iroha has changed, and largely as a result of Hachiman, because she never believed in herself enough to think that she could truly be honest and upfront and blunt with people. She had to use the finesse and facade, and she considered herself to be quite good at that, right?
Totally, yeah.
But here, she started the conflict with the hand gesturing people, and then she specifically does a confrontation with the two people who helped her out with that. Like, and then she sticks to it when they start to get sidetracked, and she's like, no, stay focused. Yeah. Like, she's a leader now.
She is a leader now. Good job, Prez. Kaori has her little moment there, and we're just gonna skip over her really quick. That. We have a little moment with Rumi. Yeah. It's really cool, where she's like, oh, like, don't leave, and then he's like, you know what, I can do it all alone. And then she's like,
okay.
Whatever. And then they have a little exchange where she's like, yeah, you can call me by my first name. And then he says, would you like to act in our play? Oh, just making her feel so special there. And then we have the little joke of, don't even look at the cake.
And for a second there, when we got the montage, it looked like Yui came up and grabbed the cake without actually looking at it. I'm not sure. Like, it might have just been that she was quickly looking to, like, the direction she was going to go. But,
I think if anything, she was, like, maybe looking at them. But, but it was kind of a, like, get out of here.
Right.
You're going to ruin this. And then Hopi starts playing, and we have a nice little moment with Iroha, almost admitting something here to Hachiman behind the stage. He says, well, this is going to be fine, it's okay, Iroha. And she's like, well, the secretary did put a lot of effort into it. And you... Right, I should go join the others.
Oh my god. Yep.
And the way she's directing him in a way that it's like she never would have been able to.
Right. Like, she trusts him, she's depending on him, but then she's also, again, she's grown enough and she's confident enough in order to delegate to him as well.
Yeah. So. It's just a really cool thing to see a character that we were worried would be so unlikable in the beginning.
I know. Like,
that
the about face that they've been doing with Iroha is incredible.
Incredible, yeah. So we have a montage of a lovely Christmas party. It goes off without a hitch.
Yep,
fantastically done.
And the hand gestures.
Yeah, Hayama's squad is also here as well.
Yes.
Even the two friends that were the awkward ones that, remember were the trio. And they were spreading rumors and stuff. I think that was them.
Oh, gotcha.
These two guys here.
Oh, yeah, I think, okay. Yes, probably.
Yeah. But yes, hand gestures boy, Mr. Hands, ended up being very useful as a backstage director of sorts.
Right.
So there you go. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. The fact that they put on plays and stuff in under a week.
I mean, that's
the
most unrealistic thing about this show.
Yeah, like, oh man, like it was probably kept very simple and everything because it's a school performance and whatnot. But
and they probably played like 2 songs, you know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It was probably like a 20-minute thing.
Sure.
You know, total. Right. With announcements, you know.
Mm-hmm. But still.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, they had cakes. They had cakes that they gave out there. That kept everyone happy.
Some good, nice, fluffy, frosted padding.
Yeah, exactly. Like a good montage. No, I'm just kidding. It was very important that we got these montages and stuff, and then they're very sweet.
And the thing is,
we have other things to get to.
Like at about the halfway point, at about the halfway point through the episode, after the montage with the festival and everything, I actually thought the episode was going to end there. I was so completely not like keeping track of how much actual time had passed in the episode. That and I think the concealment of how much time had actually passed was so good this episode that I was fully expecting it to end there. And there was another 10 minutes in the episode.
Yep.
Like, so we get the whole bit with the service club and everything, and Yukino's actually pouring Hachiman tea, you know, that bit of like full proper acceptance, and a mug or a cup, you know, not a paper cup, right? Fully accepted. They got him a gift. They worked together to get him a gift.
Yeah.
And we also passed by the whole thing of the yes, Christmas Eve and all of that stuff and romance and what could possibly happen there. No. They both got him a gift.
Yeah. And we get a call back to episode 8 with the moment where Yukino says, well, your request hasn't been fulfilled yet.
Yeah.
And, I'm, what did she say? I said I had accepted, didn't I? On the bridge. Remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Hachiman
already forgot. He's like, wait, what is this, a riddle?
Yeah. And I love this because he's so...
I love that Yu's like,
I figured it out.
I figured it out. Yeah. It's one big riddle. Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe it's best if you don't know.
Yeah. That's so sweet.
Because it's not about the festival Hachiman.
No.
That is and always was pretense, right?
Of course.
It's a specific thing, but it's not what really matters. Yeah. You said you wanted something genuine.
So you're gonna get it.
So you're gonna get it.
And this is all so happy and stuff, and then setting up plans for Christmas and stuff.
Let's do a party. Oh, and of course, Hachiman, you're coming, right?
Yeah, but then Hachiman's thoughts here. If wishes could be granted, if desires could be filled, then I wouldn't wish for a desire or anything after all. The things you're handed on a silver platter are never genuine and never everlasting. Now, where he's right is that nothing is everlasting. Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. And while you can idealize the idea of something genuine, meaning that there's zero ulterior motive, that there's zero selfishness, that there's zero facade to it, that, of course, is something that is technically probably impossible, like on some small level.
Sure, yeah, you could say that even when people are doing things out of the goodness of their heart, it's because they selfishly get something out of it, feeling good or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Karma,
but you can get to that 99.99999% to where it's good enough. And the idea that he's saying that, well, no, the idea that we get something genuine because it's just being handed to me on a silver platter, that's why I'll always keep searching.
Right, because
that worries me.
I love that.
I love it too. It's just
so the reason why I love it is because the whole thing of him saying that if it's handed to you on a silver platter, then it's probably not genuine. It's basically him. It's showing that he hasn't fully just given up on the pessimism and the skepticism that he's had. Right.
Okay.
That is still part of his identity and who he is as a person. However, it's the thing that does not. He does not allow that to fully inhibit him. It's the I will still get something genuine. I just need to work for it. I'll work for it, right?
Searching, though, is a weird word choice then. If that's your interpretation, I track with that because I believe that's where he is.
Because it feels
like
the
fact that he said searching doesn't seem right then. Because searching, this is something that I've been bugged by. A lot of people will say this kind of thing where they'll say that they're looking for something that they already have.
Oh, okay.
And I'm but that's counterintuitive. You're spinning your wheels when you literally have that right in front of you. Why are you still searching then?
The reason why I'm not worried about that in this situation is because Hachiman said before that he wouldn't wish for anything. So it feels like it's coming to me like it's coming from a place of acceptance of this is something that I want, and yet I don't want an easy solution to this. I want it to, like, I want the search.
I gotcha. Okay, well, let's go on that then. Him saying that if wishes could be granted, basically saying if I could have a magic wand and snap my fingers and something could be done immediately,
it'd defeat the purpose.
Yep, then I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Because being handed on a silver platter, okay, let's take that as a euphemism. What it's basically saying is that you didn't have to work for it.
Right.
Gotcha.
And since in a lot of ways like before now with say Yui's advances for one, that was something that he didn't work for and it wasn't going appreciated.
Well,
right?
also, but she never fully went in on it. She never offered it entirely on a silver platter. That's kind of the point where he was saved, is that she didn't full out commit and say, I confess I love you, I want to be with you. She kept it at that 2%.
It was like right towing the line. You know?
Right. He was aware of what was going on.
Right. Like he was aware that like she was standing right in front of him with a silver platter, but she never like held it out, basically.
Right, and that's my point, is that people can do that still, though.
Yes.
People can come to you with a silver platter and give you something that is good and genuine. And that doesn't mean that you have to ignore it or throw it away. One of the things that I feel like the silver platter euphemism also not belies it. It betrays a belief with regards to Hachiman there, is that accepting a silver platter takes no effort.
Sure.
And Hachiman's whole story has been about how he's had things that he's turned down intentionally because he doesn't believe it could be genuine.
Right. In this romantic comedy, this snafu of a romantic comedy, you would think that that's just chaos and a bad thing, but actually it's beautiful, it's wonderful. You are living in a wonderful time, Hachiman, right? Yeah. The things that are happening in your life, so many of them are gifts that you might not necessarily be able to recognize.
Exactly.
Right? Because
Hiratsuka.
Yes.
Like, just take Hiratsuka. Yeah. She is an entire silver platter's worth of a feast.
Right.
Just constantly going out of her way for you, Hachiman.
Yep.
And yet you have the audacity to say that, well, something handed on a silver platter is not genuine, therefore I'll keep searching. That's why that kind of thing frustrates me, is because there are things where you could go, well, it's technically requiring some effort from him. No, the Yui stuff, in my opinion, was pretty silver plattered for the most part, but it wasn't requiring zero effort, it was requiring very little. Hiratsuka, she's wants him to sit down and listen.
She forces him into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget silver platter, it's silver rails.
Yeah. So, okay. Go shopping for Yukino.
And
just the two of us.
That's so yeah. This is all right. Keep me tethered here.
I know.
This is the part that I absolutely loved. Like, there was so much just happy, wonderful stuff happening this episode, and this is where I'm like, oh my god, yes. I am over the moon. Right?
I could feel it radiating off you. Yep.
And then
the show just took a gigantic shit on it.
Multiple, it felt like, because so first off, there's the fact that well, it was montaged through. Oh yeah, and we have.
We'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Don't
yes.
worry.
Kamachi, you dumbass nitwit.
Wait. No, keep going about your Yui thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we haven't even gotten to that yet, because it's they're going to go on something that could be a date, but then we have that conversation with Yukino. But I think was the bit where she says the thing. Yeah, the year together.
Yeah, that was before.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. Right. It's fantastic.
Sorry, I'm trying to give you the space to just talk about your Yui moment this episode.
But you were just saying not yet, because we're not to that point yet.
No, because you were about to shift to the Komachi bit. So I was saying, don't talk about this yet. Sorry.
Okay.
Keep going on the Yui stuff. I sidetracked you. My bad.
All right.
I thought you were going to talk about the Yui just...
So, okay.
Sorry.
So with the whole Yui bit here, right? we have something where it's like, okay, awesome, finally, Hachiman has gotten to the point where he is comfortable enough with being vulnerable with himself and with others that he's actually saying, hey, this girl that, really likes me, and I mean, she's pretty cool.
And she's cute.
And she's cute. Let's go out, just the two of us, and shop for Yukino. Yeah. Nice little excuse. It doesn't have to necessarily mean anything, but let's go, right? And it's it's clear what's going on, right? It's fun, it's great, all that stuff, wonderful. We end up going through it not just in a montage, but in a silent montage. Like I seriously thought that this was like at first that it was just the this isn't actually happening. This is just the fun little end of episode like skit bit, to like clue you into what the next episode is going to be. So I'm like, okay, awesome. There's going to be a whole episode dedicated to their date next episode. But then of course there's the reminder of, but that would only be the second to last episode. So there can still be that time for Yukino, the probably canon end girl, to then have an episode after that.
Episodes in season 2.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So, but then we get interrupted by Haruno and Hayama. Now, the fact that it gets interrupted and Haruno like sniffs the blood in the water, right? Like, and then goes in for the kill. This is for Yukino and everything. Haruno, her emotional IQ is very high. Her social awareness and everything is very high.
Very.
She knows what's up. Yeah. She knows that Yui likes Hachiman. She can tell that they're intentionally hanging out, just the two of them.
Yep.
And then she's like, oh, we can't have that.
Nope.
We can't have that.
Nope.
Because he's got to end up with Yukino, right?
Well.
So then she comes along with Hayama, which the explanation of why her and Hayama were hanging out together and stuff, it's like, oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, that I buy that, right? But, yeah. Like, Haruno has always been a needle, right? We've talked about this.
Yeah, that was my image. I got to her, like, the first episode. Yeah.
But now, this needle, I feel like, is a syringe full of something nasty, right? And she's just like, all right, this will only hurt for a second. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So, the reason why I wanted to skip the whole Yukino bit on the train there is because I feel like it makes more sense to go at that in retrospect once we've looked into
see this scene. Gotcha.
Because this scene feels emotionally like a sabotage after the Yui stuff. But if you think about it as a sabotage, think about what's actually being sabotaged here. It's not the Yui Hachiman stuff here.
I mean, that too.
It's the club.
Yes.
The fact that they have been building everything up to where they have gotten so much closer here, but when Yukino gets here, there's just this shocked kind of almost like affront here that's just really, really like, how dare you? Like this is quite a bit here. But there was something that felt a little bit off about this whole meeting. Like there's been a conversation or 3 that's happened off screen that builds extra tension with this here. 1, Haruno looks very like not dressed how she usually does.
Yes, both her and Hayama. Like
okay.
Well, go for it.
I feel like Hayama threw just a jacket on.
Okay.
Like what kind of shirt is that to go underneath a jacket?
Yeah, it's the I want to
try a little bit.
Right. It felt very to me like the very intentional, rugged, not trying too hard. You know, like putting a lot of effort into looking like you're not putting in a lot of effort.
Yeah. I'd say it's very low effort. I don't even know if he's trying. But Haruno, she looks like she's got a full on like
she's going to some crazy formal event maybe, but not necessarily a regular formal event.
Right, like she's trying to look like a business doll basically.
Yeah,
and it freaked me out. Then while we have this little moment of awkwardness of awkward, we have something where Hayama calls Yukino Yuki.
Okay.
That's like a nickname.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
And then he panics and like has a full on like And the conversation stalls for like 3 seconds.
I didn't realize that.
And then he says, well, you have Yukinoshita.
And he says her
full name.
Well, like her last name.
Oh, her last name. That's right. And she just has this black tea, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's something very, very different going on than what Haruno we're immediately assuming here. Uh-huh. And that's why I want to talk about this before we have the bring up with the train thing here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Yukino was going this direction, but she literally had the trolley problem brought up in front of her. And Haruno's like, ka-chunk,
I'll do it.
Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. This is for your own good. Yeah.
There is no regard in my mind for what's tied up on the tracks ahead of this.
Yeah, exactly. And yet I'm sure on some level she is thinking that she's thinking about Yukino.
But then this line, the mom shows up, sorry for keeping you waiting, Hayato.
Yeah.
What the shit?
Yeah. I feel like there is something going on a lot more than we're letting on here.
Yeah.
But then the show is letting on here. This bit with Hayama being that important, basically, so the mom comes here, doesn't immediately see her daughter and introduce, and be like, "Oh, hey, good to see you."
Right.
You know?
Oh, your other friends. Oh, right. I only know about your friend Hayama.
Yeah.
Or Hayato's the only schoolmate I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. This is a
This feels like they just threw Yukino into a minefield.
Yeah.
And only a couple people are actually aware of what's going on right now.
So okay, this might feel like a weird thing to bring up or a theory or whatever.
The way also she looks at Hachiman help me. Please get me out of here.
Is Yukino gonna be married off to Hayama? Because I know that in Japan sometimes there'll be things where it's the very close business relations. You know, the kids will marry to kind of help seal the deal, right?
Yeah. I was starting to get that vibe from this episode, yeah.
And that would give extra reason as for why Haruno specifically sabotages things with Yui and Hachiman, right? It might not even be necessarily that she wants Yukino and Hachiman to end up together. It might just be that I don't know.
Okay, that wouldn't make sense. I'm interested in talking about this a little bit more because I think it brings up some context with regards to the train bit here. I think that Haruno is trying to sabotage this.
Oh, and that's why she's trying to set up Hachiman and Yukino. Because okay, right. Because her thing has always been that she does the thing that she sees as being the best for her sister, even if her sister doesn't know it, want it, or desire it, right? And if in this situation Yukino doesn't want, there is a proposed wedding or whatever between Yukino and Hayama, which by the way would make it even more complicated if Hayama had a crush or something on Haruno, because that wouldn't work because of reasons, right? Then if Haruno is basically saying, I want to make sure that Hachiman and Yukino end up together because I know that Yukino actually does like him, even though she's not willing to admit it, and there are environmental circumstances that will keep her from admitting it or doing what she actually wants.
Right. And so I feel like what happened was Haruno saw an opportunity for Hayama, her mother, or at the very least a parent, herself, Hachiman and Yukino to all be in the same room together.
Right.
Where this kind of a thing can be brought up.
And this
so that Hachiman's very successful methods of getting involved can just help her.
Take effect, right. Yeah. And this is why it pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
Is that nowhere in there
does there leave room for Yui.
Yeah. And this was a wonderful moment up till now for Hachiman and Yui that has been built up to, we've waited for a long time. Yui has waited for a long time.
Yeah.
And Yui is, I feel like she is not assertive enough to truly butt in, especially if it's something that is helping Yukino.
Oh,
because she cares enough about Yukino, she cares so much about Yukino that if this was something where it's helping her, she might be like, okay, fine, I'll lay down on the tracks. That's okay.
Okay, so I have a take on that I think is a more evolved version of that. It's similar though. Is that I think because of how much Yui has grown, she would absolutely throw herself on the tracks for Yukino. The difference is though is that it's not a sacrifice for her as much as she would rally Hachiman to help her do this. She'd tug on his, I'm going to talk about that in a second.
She as in like Yui would or
Yui
Yukino?
Would tug on Hachiman's coat and be like, we're doing this. We're going to help her. We're going to save her.
Right. Okay.
And that's not throwing herself on the tracks. What it is saying is that she's going to lose the battle.
That's kind of what I mean. Because
to potentially...
Right. Because one of the things that is tough and whenever you have a love triangle, and there's because of side characters and stuff, there's a whole lot more than a love triangle in this show, right? but within the core characters, there's a love triangle.
Right.
How do you resolve it in a way that isn't a three-way that is happy for everybody, right? Usually you don't, right? And how do you sell that there is a meaningful, good resolution to all parties involved, right? Because if it's something where say Yui just is like, all right, well, I guess I'm not the canon girl, whatever, right?
Right.
That I don't want that, not just because I like Yui as a character and I'm shipping her and Hachiman, but it's also because if Yui doesn't end up being the main girl, which I get the feeling she won't be, the canon end girl at the very least.
Right.
I want to be absolutely sold and persuaded that I love the ending with Hachiman and Yukino. And I don't see that happening if it's something where Yukino is specifically sacrificed for it.
Right.
Now, this is an amazing show. I fully trust that it will be done in spectacular fashion and I will love the ending that we get, right? But given what happened in this episode, it makes me very worried, and I'm emotionally compromised, so I know to hold that with a grain of salt and have an open hand about it and all of that. But oh my God, that whole end scene really pissed me off. It makes me very invested for what happens in the future because I'm emotionally invested. I'm like, no, you're, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I
feel like what happened here was Jacob got a bit of a taste of the thing that breaks through the preference that you have for a Yui Hachiman ending and saw Yukino being basically kind of set up as more the canon ending again.
No,
I know
there hasn't really been
simplification,
but there hasn't really been a doubt in my mind since almost the beginning of the show that Yukino would be the canon end girl over Yui. The short, colorful haired girl is not the one that usually gets the happy ending. The long haired proper girl that we meet the family of and things like that. It's obviously going to be her. The one who doesn't like the main character immediately. Because that's where the actual most of the growth will happen.
Right.
I hope that it's not, right? I want to see a canon end with Yui. I think that could be fantastic. But the pragmatic side of me is like, no, it's not going to happen.
So that's why I want to bring up the train bit and a little bit with the dimwit, dumbass, or nitwit, dumbass, Hachiman.
Yeah.
That was so adorable from Kamachi, and of course she loves that.
And then Yukino laughing while turned away.
Right, but then on the train, remember in the beginning of the episode, who else was on a train?
Oh, yeah, Iroha. Yeah.
Who gave him a little tug at a specific moment, being like, this bag is too heavy.
Right.
So, I think Yukino here ends up having her little moment of, oops, I just leaned on him.
And I'm comfortable depending on you.
But also, I'm not letting go.
Uh-huh.
Throughout this whole scene, we never focus on her hand again.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole thing, until he leaves the train, we can logically assume that she is remaining holding on to his coat the entire time.
And even if she did, and they just decided, the show just decides not to show it, that also communicates something.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
Yeah. And then the fact that as he's about to leave, she then calls out to him, right? And then I look forward to our next year together.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where there's a lot of the stuff that happens with Yukino and Hachiman that within their own conversations on their own, it's like,
Totally.
oh my god, I love it. It's awesome. It's fantastic. I really see how they're building up the relationship and the dynamics so that a canon end between the two of them is something that I will believe and be on board for.
Totally.
But when characters like Haruno step in, it feels almost like meta messing with the thing in order to achieve a result. Now, it's consistent with the characters, so it's like,
that's why I don't want to.
They have reasons for doing that.
That's why I don't want to talk about that now. Let's talk about the train scene, because this is kind of, in some ways, the end of the episode, and they kind of started the first 3 minutes of another episode in order to give us the bombshell that was that awkward cafe conversation here.
Right.
So, by the way, are you okay with going this way? Right after she puts her hand on his coat there, he's the first one to speak, and she kind of has this right,
of course. Wait, were you meaning? Was there a different meaning to what you said?
But he did the by the way to kind of be like, I'm not talking about that.
Right, it's this is casual, but
I need to kind of change
but it might
the
not
subject.
Be. Yeah,
I need to change the subject, and then he brings up her family.
Right,
and things change here. It's like, oh, I haven't gone back this year. I don't have any business there, and it doesn't make a difference whether I'm there or not. Now, I was getting the vibe that there was something going on with Hayama based on this whole thing here, especially once at the end there he had that little Yukinoshita thing there.
Oh yeah, and also when Yukino got taken away for the summer vacation or whatever, it was something where it's we've been trying to get in touch with you.
Exactly.
So it's is it actually that it doesn't matter whether she's there or not?
It doesn't.
Or that it does matter to them, but to her, she doesn't want to be there.
I think this is empirically true. They are making decisions for her, and it does not matter whether she's there.
Sure.
She only needs to show up to basically be like, yes, I am a person that exists. I am here.
Right.
And that's why she lives alone. That's why she's basically off on her own with this whole thing there, is that they're probably accepting.
They don't actually really care about her.
No, but they're also kind of letting her have this, this is a phase, a temper tantrum. This is her just, we'll give her that feeling of independence so that she
exactly. So that way she'll
problems.
Still be compliant, right?
Yeah.
She won't go totally rebellious, paladin-y, and stubborn and all that.
And then Hachiman brings up, well, then why not go?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, then that's a load off your mind and you won't bother anyone, unlike some people who ruin things with their mere presence. Now, that is, in my opinion, one of the most reverse compliments Hachiman's given this show.
Yep.
He's basically saying, you won't bother anyone, and unlike some people, meaning like you make things better just by your mere presence.
Right. And who knows, they might really care about you. It's something where he's basically saying, you are a person that I believe people care about.
You're a person worthy of
love and being cared for. Because, hey, subtext, I care about you.
Yeah.
And so there's a very good chance that they do too.
Right. And then she goes, are you introducing yourself with referring to the people who ruin things with their mere presence?
Right.
This is that little banter flirting thing there.
Yeah.
But it also could be are you saying that you are the one who might care about me in that way?
And my presence?
Yeah. And
I don't ruin your life?
He just immediately, indeed. That's why I've been trying to minimize my social interactions.
Yeah.
And yet here we are together having a little bit of a social conversation. And she's been smiling this whole time.
Yep.
And then once he says, I need to get off here, it's very quick. But look at her face change.
Yeah. Smile goes away.
Smile goes away. And she's like, oh, shit, I wanted to say something. Hikigaya.
Addressing him.
His real name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's to another year together. That bit, having the doors close on her there.
Yep.
That is one of those moments in a romantic, kind of story and stuff. It's super stereotypical, but it's really powerful.
It's effective, yeah.
Where the person basically says goodbye.
Right. But the thing is what she's saying is,
Yeah.
here's to another year together.
Right. But it's also
the environment is going to close this off.
Yeah. And then immediately after that, something is coming up that is very much something outside of Yukino's control, where she feels so trapped that she looks to Hachiman to save her.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, we're setting up some serious shenanigans.
Oh,
And
yeah.
My panic is that I'm not sure whether we can really trust Haruno. I want to trust her, though.
We can trust her with certain things, is the thing.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But with other things, we really can't. And that's why I love her as a character in the story and how she shakes things up and adds so much energy to the conflict. But at the same time, I absolutely despise her. Like, and I feel like I kind of ping pong back and forth because depending on the situation, she can either be awesome and super helpful or the worst. So yeah.
One of the things that I feel like will be helpful in the future is if Haruno is in a situation where she's with just Hachiman, she might be honest.
Yeah.
And that has
but then again
happened, I think about, I don't know, maybe about like 2 times total.
But even in the times
when
she's
quickly arrested with some third party coming in and getting involved.
Yeah, it's quickly arrested, and even when she is honest, she's careful what she's honest about because she's still playing a fine game. She's a surgeon with all of this, right? So she has to keep a control over his perspective about her and the things that she's doing so that he doesn't mess things up. Right? But she also acknowledges and gives those nods when he's kind of on the right track.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that is where we can trust her, is that with Hachiman's story, with what's going on, with him, she is somewhat on his side. It's the question of whether or not she's on Yukino's side, or not.
Yeah.
But that was why I wanted to have that in that order. So sorry for making it kind of awkward there.
No, totally. I get that.
The thing with Yui set up the perfect kind of railway, basically change.
Yui has been getting shafted by just the environment and everything and the other pieces in this story constantly. So
definitely.
I'm going to be salty when she's not the canon girl. I'm okay with that. I just want it to really feel like her character is given her full moment in the spotlight without getting butted in on by other characters. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just going to end up being disappointed with that side of the narrative.
Hey, at least you're not like an Iroha shipper. Like,
well, I mean, hey, no, I think I am.
They gave very genuine, like, good reasons as to why she would like Hachiman,
absolutely,
especially after this episode.
Well, I joked about the whole thing of if Yui and Yukino end up together and he ends up with Iroha. But there is that, like, it's never going to happen. But I could
3% possibility.
But that the 0% possibility of it actually happening in the show. But I wouldn't be surprised on a character level if that happened. Like, I could see the characters getting to that point where that happened. Theoretically, but because of how the show is structured and things like that, I don't think that will ever actually that would never get greenlit from the author or the
I mean, this is an adaptation, so it could be different from the source material.
Potentially, I'm guessing not.
No,
but
probably not.
Yeah, no. Given how the 5 years or whatever it was that was the way for season 3, I get the feeling they're not going to go for an anime original ending.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah,
but. Y'all,
oh God!
Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, we stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.